Morning, everybody. Josh, the RV nerd here from Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, coming in about 6,500 pounds. A Salem 27RKSS that, frankly, for 2012 doesn't look too awful bad. It's not necessarily a spring chicken. It's funny to hear 2012. It doesn't sound that old, does it? That's 10 years. She's about 10 years old. It has spent almost its entire life basically parked in one spot, kind of used as a seasonal camper. And really, all things considered, I think it's weathered the storm pretty well. It hadn't been towed around. They did a lot of routine care, maintenance, and upkeep on it. They also kept tire covers on it the whole time, so the tire covers are not rotted out. I know now that I say that, I haven't checked the date code on the tires. If you are planning on towing and going with it, just because of the age, you might want to go ahead and swap the tires out. If you're planning on just leave it at park somewhere, personally, I'd leave the tires on that are on there right now, and I'd call it good. And you can certainly see a little, by the way, that's the CO detector chirping. We're in a little bit of a low house battery situation here, and my portable batteries are all exhausted and recharging currently, so I wasn't able to knock that off and turn the lights on. But the good thing about a rear kitchen like this, you get some huge window coverage. It's always nice and light and bright in here. It could be a little brighter with some lights on, obviously, but I think we can certainly get through this and get the right idea. But what was I saying before that? I don't remember. Anyway, overall, it looks pretty good. You got to remember, again, it is about 10 years old. And for a 10-year-old RV, I actually think it's looking pretty decent. Like the sofa and the dinette here, they're not really worn out and broken down. A little depression in the middle of the sofa, perhaps, but I mean, that's going to happen. You can see where a couple people sat on the dinette, but it's not all shredded wheat. Over here, on the left side as we're about to sit down, so if you're sitting at that sofa, this is another thing I like about rear kitchens. They're very social. You're really directly across from one another, plus that huge campsite viewing window. That is something that I always like about them. But the chair on the left is the original factory swivel rocking chair. The chair on the right is a small residential recliner that was subbed in. My guess is somebody felt like twisting a little bit. I would say maybe they put a TV over here, but I don't see where one was ever mounted on the wall. Perhaps they had a small pedestal-based TV, or perhaps they just didn't care too much about television, and they just, camped a little bit. One of the good things, though, I mentioned the seating, the door side window, but the storage in a rear kitchen travel trailer, you really can't beat it for the size. You will get more storage and more counter space in a rear kitchen travel trailer than pretty much anything else within its class. And Wildwood has, like today's Wildwoods, well, Salem as it were also, have been very good about good storage solutions like today's Versa lounges. But did you see those big drawers under the sofa? They have always been very good about giving us all kinds of storage space all over the place. And that, again, is one of the things I like about rear kitchens. But if I back up here and just kind of give you a look, that's really, I mean, you're going to call it a rear kitchen. We got to spend a moment looking at the rear kitchen. It's not all banged up. It's not scarred up. You don't see where they, like spilled stuff, smashed stuff around. They used the RV like a summertime home, but they maintained it like a home, which is, I think, one of the key differences. And overall, it's fairly factory fresh. Like I said, they swapped a chair out. They added a couple of these little hanging wire racks, probably for spices or something like that. But overall, it doesn't really show heavy signs of use or modification or anything like that. Like, there's no swollen cabinetry in the kitchen where, like, a valve bust in the winter and caused a flood or anything like that. My understanding is it was parked on a concrete pad. I suspect these people camped in an area that was very sandy, because I actually swept the floor out when I got in here, and my wet feet are tracking more dirt back in right now, so I'm probably going to have to do that again when I leave. The other thing that I noticed is there was a little bit of pet hair around the RV. I don't see where our little four-legged furry friend peed on anything, chewed on anything, left a little surprise in the corner. I did find a couple little tufts of hair like dust bunnies built up under those chairs, though. Now, I'm also, I have a very weak sense of smell. I don't detect if these folks are smokers. I don't believe they were. I can usually still pick up on that. But if you're sensitive to pets or, fur or something like that, this might be something we'd want to go through and do a real heavy cleaning on first before you dive into it, or it just might not be the right one for you. Either way, I hope you appreciate the transparency that we're willing to share potentially detrimental things like that. You know that you can always get good information and a fair deal from Haylett RV. And the bathrooms. This is definitely an area that I like to put these videos together for, because it's kind of a tight space. It's hard to really get a good sense of the space just with a, a still photo or two. This was built with the optional skylight and shower surround paneling. The skylight actually remains optional today. The surround paneling is something that has since become standard. But one of the reasons I want to put this one together is it actually has a really nice linen cabinet over here around the corner. Something where you don't have to roll towels up burrito style. You can actually just toss towels in there, beach towels, home towels, and have room for extra toilet paper or, body soaps, body washes. This kind of extra storage is something that stick and tin conventional trailers that we're looking at very often lacks. All right, one step back here, kind of give you a reference point where the bathroom door is. Easy travel access, by the way, or if the slide's closed, you can get to the bathroom. You're not going to be able to get to the fridge with the slide closed. Also, this was made before this floor plan had a dedicated privacy door like it does now, the Wildwood 27RKS that we would carry. It is designed for basically just a curtain. I don't see the curtain in the RV. My guess is because this was used as just a dedicated couples camper. And they probably didn't have a lot of guests sleeping over. They didn't worry too much about that. It wouldn't be hard to maybe put a curtain up or slap in an accordion style door, something like that. And I do notice they have swapped out the blue backbreaker wafer of death for something a little more plush and residential in feeling. Now I do want to I want to mocha paint. I want to make a point, God bless it, that you guys ever do that? You ever just juggle up all your words? I tell you, I do it all the time. I want to make a point that this one does have a manual awning instead of a power awning. We get very accustomed to power awnings in today's market, and it was right after this was built that they really started to become almost the default option, well, not even option, but just default thing on almost all towable RVs. Now you saw that has a huge front pass-through compartment. That extra tall bed means extra tall storage. And you see that the spare tire was stowed away from the sun, the original Salem slip cover and everything right on there. Now if you kind of hearing, by the way, the sound, it sounds like little birdie feet tick, 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 ticking away. It's because I've got a tiny umbrella above our heads right now, just trying to keep the camera shielded away. It's not raining too hard, but I don't exactly like, any rain getting on a camera. That is not a good recipe. Now, if you're looking for little things like you want to slap on a power tongue jack, you want to put on some of those roof vent covers, that's easy stuff we can do for you here. I do also want to make mention that this does not have an enclosed underbelly like today's Salems would be. If you weren't aware, Salem and Wildwood, they're literally the exact same trailer. And we're a Wildwood dealer here at Haylett RV, so I know my way around this thing pretty well. We're used to it, with a different color decal package basically. But in this generation, they did not yet have that enclosed heated accessibility, but they did, they were always really good about something here. It doesn't have exposed plumbing underneath. The plumbing is all run through the floor. Now it's not the same as an enclosed, heated, protected, etc. belly, but it is better than absolutely exposed plumbing. So, if it's going to kind of dip briefly overnight into those freezing temps and come back tomorrow, you'll be okay here. But if it's going to stay there, you want to get it winterized. And I tell you, here's another thing I love about rear kitchens. They're some of the most park-friendly designs. When you pop that awning open, or if you want to build a deck onto this thing, there's no slides, there's no nothing eating into your campsite. You get to enjoy the maximum amount of camping patio space on a rear kitchen design. It's why, personally, I think for destination use, nothing beats a rear kitchen. Not a bad little budget beater with a big old super slide. Lots of counter space too. I tell you, that's why I love rear kitchens. One slide, but it feels like two. It's kind of like the wind chill factor of the RV industry. When you check the weather on the news report, it's like, well, it's 30 degrees, but it feels like less. Except in this case, it feels like more. Bank error in your favor, as Uncle Pennybags would say from the Monopoly game. So if she looks right to you, give us a call. We can do financing. We can get you set up with hitching. You don't got a tow vehicle, you just want it delivered somewhere, we can do that too. All we need is just a phone call to work with you. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.